Have you ever walked into a room, stared at the wall, and thought, what on earth was I looking for? Or maybe you're in the middle of a conversation, and a word you've used 1,000 times before just disappears from your mind. Here's a fact that surprises most people. By the time we reach 65, nearly 40% of adults experience these memory lapses regularly. But new research shows it doesn't have to be permanent, and it can even be reversed, starting with one simple habit tonight. I'm Dr. Howard Tucker, a longevity doctor with decades of experience helping seniors not only live longer, but live sharper, stronger, and more independent lives. Today, I'm going to show you the powerful nighttime ritual backed by science that helps restore memory recall, protect aging brain cells, and improve word-finding skills, so you can stay mentally quick and confident no matter your age. And here's the best part. It doesn't involve pills, expensive gadgets, or hours of brain training. It starts with what you do in the last hour before bed. When we talk about memory lapses, many people assume it's all about the brain. But here's something you may not know. Your brain's ability to store and recall words is deeply tied to your sleep cycle. Think of sleep as the library staff of your mind. During the day, you collect hundreds of books, conversations, new names, reminders, jokes, and experiences. At night, while you sleep, your brain's hippocampus is supposed to take those books and neatly place them onto the shelves of long-term memory. But here's the problem. As we age, the deep sleep stages, especially slow-wave sleep, shrink dramatically. Seniors in their 70s spend about 50% less time in restorative deep sleep compared to people in their 30s. That means the books don't get shelved properly. Instead, they pile up in the hallway of your mind, which is why you find yourself reaching for a word you know is in there, but can't seem to grab. Scientists even have a name for it, the tip-of-the-tongue phenomenon. So, what can you do tonight to fix this? You can prime your brain for memory consolidation before you even close your eyes. The first step is surprisingly simple. Fuel your neurons with the right nighttime snack. And no, I don't mean a sugary cookie or glass of wine. I'm talking about foods proven to deliver the exact compounds your brain needs to strengthen connections between nerve cells while you sleep. Let me give you an example. Studies from the University of Oxford found that seniors who consumed foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids and vitamin C before bed showed measurable improvements in verbal memory within 12 weeks. That means fewer of those frustrating moments when you know a word, but it slips away. Even better, these nutrients help protect the myelin sheath, the insulation around your brain's wiring that frays with age and slows down your recall speed. One of my favorite memory-friendly evening snacks is Greek yogurt mixed with blueberries and walnuts. Here's why. Greek yogurt provides a steady stream of amino acids, especially tyrosine, which your brain uses to make dopamine and norepinephrine, two neurotransmitters linked to focus and word retrieval. Blueberries are loaded with anthocyanins, antioxidants that actually cross the blood-brain barrier and repair aging neurons. In fact, Tufts University researchers found that older adults who ate a cup of blueberries daily performed as well on memory tests as people 10 years younger. Walnuts supply both omega-3s and melatonin. The omega-3s repair brain cell membranes, and melatonin helps reset your sleep cycle so your hippocampus can file memories more efficiently. Together, this isn't just a snack, it's a pre-bedtime brain primer. It tells your nervous system, here are the tools you need to build stronger memory connections tonight. Now, eating the right foods is one half of the equation. The other half is creating the right environment for your brain to do its repair work. Picture this. Your brain waves need to slow down into a calm rhythm, like ripples settling on a pond. But many seniors go to bed with racing thoughts, bright screens, or background noise which keeps the ripples crashing. This is where a simple, science-backed breathing practice comes in. Researchers at Stanford University discovered that just 5 minutes of slow, paced breathing before bed increases activity in the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for word recall and decision-making. The technique is easy. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Exhale gently for 6. Repeat this while sitting comfortably in bed, and you're literally telling your brain, it's safe, it's calm, you can now switch into repair mode. Pair that breathing with your memory snack, and you've created a two-part ritual that prepares your mind to lock in words, names, and conversations overnight. My patients who practice this consistently often tell me the same thing. Doctor, I don't just sleep better, I wake up sharper. And the science backs them up. In a 2021 study from the University of California, older adults who improved their deep sleep quality showed a 40% boost in memory recall compared to peers who didn't. That means sharper conversations at breakfast, fewer embarrassing pauses, and a renewed sense of confidence in social settings. So tonight, instead of scrolling through the news or worrying about tomorrow, try this. Enjoy a small bowl of Greek yogurt with blueberries and walnuts about an hour before bed. Then spend 5 minutes with slow breathing, lights dimmed, and no distractions. You'll be giving your brain the exact tools and conditions it needs to stitch your daily experiences into lasting memories. And here's the exciting part. This is only the beginning. Because while food and breathing set the stage, there's another nighttime habit that acts like a highlighter pen for your memory, ensuring that the words you want tomorrow are waiting for you, clear and ready. If your evening snack and breathing ritual prepare the brain's library staff, the next step is handing them a bright, glowing highlighter to mark the information you most want to keep. This is where a practice called targeted memory reactivation comes in. It may sound complicated, but the idea is simple. The last thoughts and experiences you focus on before sleep are far more likely to be stored in long-term memory. Think about it this way. Have you ever fallen asleep after watching a movie, only to dream about it all night? Or gone to bed humming a song and woken up still singing it? That's targeted memory reactivation at work. Your brain takes whatever was on deck at bedtime and gives it priority during the night's filing process. Now, here's the science. A team at Northwestern University showed that when seniors listened to simple memory cues, like a list of words or even subtle sound prompts, right before deep sleep, their recall the next day improved by 50% compared to controls. The hippocampus, which acts as your memory librarian, isn't random. It loves cues, and when you give it clear ones before sleep, it shelves those memories in the front row where they're easy to grab later. So how do you use this in daily life if you're over 60 and struggling with forgetfulness? The simplest way is through a 2-minute reflection ritual. Here's how it works. About 10 to 15 minutes before bed, after you've had your snack and done your breathing, sit quietly with a notepad, or even just in your mind, and think of 3 things you want to remember more clearly. It could be a friend's name you often forget, the details of tomorrow's appointment, or even a new word you'd like to add back into your active vocabulary. By speaking or writing them down, you're priming your brain. You're saying, these are important. Highlight them. As you drift into sleep, the hippocampus takes those cues and reinforces them, like a librarian stamping priority on certain books. By morning, those words are easier to find. Your recall feels smoother, and you start building confidence that memory loss doesn't have to control you. And let's not underestimate that confidence. Seniors who practice memory highlighting often report not just sharper recall, but also less anxiety. Why? Because the fear of forgetting often weighs heavier than the actual memory lapse. When you know you've trained your brain the night before, you approach conversations and daily tasks with less worry. That reduces stress hormones like cortisol, which are notorious for interfering with memory in the first place. Now, if you want to boost this effect even further, here's a fascinating tip from recent sleep neuroscience. Pair your reflection with a calming scent. Researchers in Germany found that older adults exposed to a mild fragrance like rose or lavender while reviewing memory cues before bed retained nearly 2 times more information the next morning compared to those without the scent. The reason is that smell has a direct line to the hippocampus. The fragrance becomes a sensory bookmark that strengthens the memory trace. Imagine this. You write down the name Margaret, the friend you keep forgetting to call. You inhale a light lavender scent as you repeat her name 3 times. You go to sleep. The next morning, you see her face, and her name comes instantly. That's not luck, it's neuroscience working in your favor. And don't worry, this isn't about overloading your evening with rituals. The entire process can take less than 15 minutes. A light snack, a few minutes of calm breathing, a short reflection with perhaps a soothing scent nearby. Small, enjoyable steps that work together like gears in a machine, powering up the one thing many seniors fear losing most: memory. But here's the breakthrough. Memory is not just about recall. It's about brain plasticity, the ability of your brain to rewire itself even in your 70s, 80s, or 90s. And when you combine nutrition, relaxation, and targeted memory cues, you're not just patching over forgetfulness. You're actually teaching your brain to rebuild its own circuits. And that brings us to the next layer of this ritual, something that doesn't involve food or notebooks at all, but taps into your body's internal repair chemistry. It's the silent partner in memory consolidation, and without it, all the snacks and reflections in the world won't give you lasting results. I'm talking about the deep connection between sleep hormones and memory strength. You've now set the stage with nutrition, breathing, and memory highlighting. But none of it sticks unless your body releases the right hormones while you sleep. These are your brain's repair crew. Without them, it's like hiring librarians but never giving them keys to the library. The two main players are melatonin and growth hormone, and together they decide whether your memories are locked into place or left to slip away. Let's start with melatonin. Most people know it as the sleep hormone, the chemical that makes you drowsy when the sun sets. But here's the part most seniors don't hear. Melatonin doesn't just put you to sleep, it directs your brain into the deep sleep stages where memories are consolidated. Think of it as the conductor of a symphony, guiding your brain waves down from noisy wakefulness into the calm rhythm of slow-wave sleep. The trouble is, melatonin levels drop sharply as we age. By age 70, you may be producing 70% less melatonin than you did at 30. That's why so many older adults lie awake at night or wake up too early. Without enough melatonin, your brain skims across the surface of sleep instead of diving deep, and that's when memories fail to stick. The good news? You can coax your brain to release more of its own melatonin without a single pill. Simple cues like dim lighting in the evening, shutting off screens an hour before bed, and sipping a warm, Tart cherry tea can all increase melatonin naturally. Tart cherries, especially Montmorency cherries, are one of the rare foods that contain melatonin precursors. In fact, a clinical trial at Louisiana State University found that older adults who drank Tart cherry juice before bed slept 84 minutes longer on average and reported sharper memory recall after just 2 weeks. Now let's talk about the other hormone, growth hormone. Don't let the name fool you, it's not just for kids. Growth hormone is released in pulses during deep sleep, and its job is to repair tissues, strengthen connections between neurons, and literally remodel your brain for sharper function. Neuroscientists call this synaptic pruning and synaptic strengthening. It's the process where weak connections are trimmed away and useful connections are reinforced, like gardeners shaping a tree. Here's where it gets exciting. A study from the University of Chicago found that when seniors increased their deep sleep duration, even by just 20 minutes a night, their nighttime growth hormone release nearly doubled. The result? Faster recall, stronger word memory, and greater mental energy the next day. It shows that you don't need endless hours of sleep. You need the right kind of sleep. So, how do you encourage your body to release more growth hormone naturally? The answer lies in two things: timing and blood sugar. Eating heavy, sugary foods late at night keeps insulin levels high, which blunts growth hormone release. That's why the light, protein-rich snack we discussed earlier is so powerful. It stabilizes blood sugar so your body can release growth hormone freely once you drift into deep sleep. And here's another overlooked tip: temperature. Your brain releases more growth hormone when your body is slightly cooler at night. That's why seniors who keep their bedroom around 65 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit report both better sleep and sharper memory. It's not just comfort, it's biology. A cooler room encourages your body to cycle into the deep stages of sleep where hormones flow and memories are stored. Together, melatonin and growth hormone are the silent guardians of your memory. One guides you into the right sleep stages, the other rebuilds and strengthens the pathways that hold your words and names. And when they work in harmony, you wake up not just rested, but mentally sharper. But here's where most people go wrong. They focus only on supplements or sleep pills, which may knock you out but don't guarantee quality deep sleep. True memory repair comes from creating the right environment and habits so your brain can release these hormones naturally in the right rhythm every night. And when you master that rhythm, something remarkable happens. Your brain begins to act younger. It doesn't just protect old memories. It starts laying down new ones faster, helping you learn new names, remember new information, and even pick up new skills with confidence. Which brings us to the next crucial part of this nighttime ritual: movement. Not exercise at the gym, but light evening movements that set up your body and brain to sync together. Because without circulation, those memory-boosting nutrients and hormones can't reach where they're needed most, and that's where we'll go next. You've primed your brain with food, calmed it with breathing, and set the stage with sleep hormones. But here's something most people overlook. None of those steps matter if the nutrients and hormones never reach your brain cells in the first place. That delivery system depends on circulation. Now, here's the breakthrough. You don't need intense workouts to clear those highways. In fact, one of the best ways to supercharge circulation for memory is with light evening movement, just 5 to 10 minutes before bed. Why evening? Because studies from the University of Illinois show that seniors who practiced light movement within 2 hours of sleep had 30% more blood flow to the hippocampus, the brain's memory hub. One of my favorites to prescribe is the march in place exercise. Here's how it works. Stand near your bed or a sturdy chair. Lift your knees slowly, one after the other, as though you're marching, but keep it gentle, like a slow parade step. Do this for 2 to 3 minutes, and you'll feel your heart rate rise just enough to pump oxygen-rich blood toward your brain. Another simple option is seated arm circles. Sit on the edge of your bed, extend your arms, and draw small circles forward and backward. It loosens stiff shoulders, increases upper body blood flow, and sends oxygen upward through the carotid arteries that feed your brain. And for those who enjoy stretching, try a gentle standing calf raise. Hold onto the bed frame or wall, rise up onto your toes for 2 seconds, then lower slowly. Just 10 to 15 repetitions are enough to encourage circulation in the legs and activate your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode that prepares your body for deeper sleep. What I love about these movements is how approachable they are. They don't require equipment, special clothing, or even much space, yet they deliver measurable results. In fact, research published in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience found that seniors who added just 5 minutes of low-intensity movement before bed experienced faster word recall the next morning compared to those who were completely sedentary. And here's the beauty. You don't have to choose one movement. You can combine them into a short 2-minute flow. March in place for 60 seconds, do arm circles for 30 seconds, then finish with calf raises. In under 3 minutes, you've given your brain a surge of oxygen, nutrients, and growth factors. And now, you may be wondering, how quickly can I expect to notice changes? The answer may surprise you. In controlled trials, older adults showed sharper memory recall within 2 weeks of adding light movement before bed. And when paired with the nutrition and sleep habits we discussed earlier, the effects stack up like compound interest. You can eat the right foods, breathe slowly before bed, release melatonin and growth hormone, and even boost circulation with gentle movements. But none of that matters if your brain doesn't get enough oxygen. Oxygen is the final ingredient that allows your neurons to fire, connect, and store memories. Without it, those delivery trucks we talked about earlier arrive at the brain, but the shelves stay dark. This is why researchers at Harvard found that seniors with mild sleep-disordered breathing were 3 times more likely to report word-finding difficulties compared to those with healthy oxygen levels. But here's the hopeful part. Even small improvements in oxygenation can dramatically sharpen memory. So how can you ensure your brain gets enough oxygen tonight? It starts with position and practice. First, your sleep position matters. Lying flat on your back with your chin tilted down can narrow the airway, making it harder for oxygen to flow. Try elevating your head slightly with a pillow or side sleeping. Both keep airways more open and allow oxygen to flow freely. A study from the University of Toronto found that seniors who switched from flat sleeping to slightly elevated head positions improved nighttime oxygen saturation by nearly 10%. That's the difference between a sluggish brain and a sharp one at breakfast. Second, practice oxygen-rich breathing before bed. While we already covered calming breathing, there's another technique worth adding. It's called the 4-7-8 breath. Here's how. Inhale deeply through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold that breath gently for 7 seconds. Then exhale through your mouth for 8. Repeat this cycle 4 times. This simple practice not only calms the nervous system, it also saturates your blood with oxygen, ensuring more of it is ready to reach your brain as you fall asleep. Seniors who adopt this routine often describe waking up with a clearer head, less grogginess, and sharper recall. But oxygenation isn't only about airflow, it's also about the health of your blood vessels. Here's a simple oxygen-boosting bedtime snack I often recommend. A small cup of warm beet juice blended with a squeeze of lemon. The beets boost nitric oxide. The lemon adds vitamin C to protect blood vessels, and the warmth relaxes your body for sleep. Taken an hour before bed, it gently widens blood vessels and ensures oxygen is delivered where it matters most, your memory centers. And here's something even more surprising. Oxygenation and melatonin work hand in hand. When oxygen levels are steady, your pineal gland produces more melatonin, deepening your sleep cycles. It's a feedback loop. Better oxygen means better sleep hormones, which means better memory repair. The payoff is real. And this leads us into the final piece of the nighttime memory ritual. One of the most encouraging parts of this ritual is that results don't take months or years to show up. Your brain begins signaling change within days, and by the end of 2 weeks, you'll likely notice clear, positive shifts. These early signs are your proof that the ritual is not just theory, it's working in real time. The first sign is less morning grogginess. Many seniors accept waking up foggy as a normal part of aging, but in reality it's often a red flag for poor memory consolidation overnight. After just a week of combining the snack, breathing, and light movement, many patients report a sharper morning state, clearer thoughts, quicker recall of what day it is, and less of that lost in a cloud feeling upon waking. The second sign is easier word retrieval in conversation. Instead of hitting that frustrating pause where a name or word seems to hide on the tip of your tongue, you'll find the words flowing back more naturally. A third early sign is stronger short-term memory. You may notice you can remember where you left your glasses or keys without retracing your steps, or that you recall the details of a TV show, a recipe, or a phone number more easily. This is your prefrontal cortex, the working memory center, benefiting from better oxygen and growth hormone release during sleep. It's a subtle but powerful shift, and it builds confidence quickly. The fourth sign is steadier focus and attention. Many seniors describe their minds as jumping around more with age. You may notice you can follow conversations more easily without zoning out, or read a few extra pages of a book before feeling tired. These are small but meaningful victories. Another signal comes from your mood. Memory and mood are closely linked, because the same brain chemicals that support recall, dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine, also influence how you feel. One more encouraging sign: sharper dreams. Believe it or not, many of my patients notice their dreams become more vivid within the first 2 weeks. This is a direct reflection of improved REM and deep sleep cycles, the very stages where memories are filed, words are stored, and the brain recharges. Vivid dreams aren't random. They're a sign your brain is finally reaching the restorative stages of sleep it has been missing. Now, I want to emphasize something important. These early signs don't always arrive in the same order, and they don't look identical for everyone. For some, the first change is feeling less anxious in conversation. For others, it's simply waking up more refreshed. But what matters most is this. If you notice even one of these shifts, it means your brain is responding. The truth is, short-term wins are exciting, but the real goal is lasting independence, sharper recall, and the confidence that your memory can serve you for years to come. And that only happens when a ritual stops being something you try and becomes something you live. Think about it like brushing your teeth. You don't debate whether or not to brush. You just do it because you know the payoff. This ritual should become the same. Snack, breathing, reflection, movement, and oxygen support. A 5-part sequence that becomes as natural as washing your face before bed. Here's how my patients have locked it in. They start by anchoring the ritual to a consistent bedtime. Your brain thrives on rhythm. Going to bed at roughly the same time each night strengthens your circadian rhythm, boosts melatonin production, and makes every other step more effective. Even shifting from midnight to 10:30 p.m. consistently can add hours of restorative deep sleep each week. Next, they keep their snacks simple and repeatable. Greek yogurt with blueberries and walnuts, or a small glass of warm beet juice with lemon. By sticking with familiar options, the ritual doesn't feel like a chore. It feels like a treat. Most importantly, they protect the environment. Lights dimmed, screens off, bedroom slightly cooler. These aren't luxuries. They're signals. They tell your brain, it's time to release melatonin, time to let growth hormone flow, time to repair and remember. When repeated nightly, those signals become automatic. The payoff for weaving this into daily life isn't just sharper mornings. Over time, the ritual builds resilience in your brain. Neurons form new connections, blood flow improves, oxygenation steadies, and the hippocampus literally resists age-related decline. Scientists call this neuroplasticity, the ability of your brain to adapt and strengthen, no matter your age. This isn't about fighting aging. It's about outsmarting it. By turning bedtime into a powerful tool instead of a wasted opportunity, you're giving your brain exactly what it needs to stay sharp and vibrant, even as the years go by. And that brings us to the final piece of this journey. What happens when you commit fully? Because while the early signs are encouraging and the routine makes it sustainable, the true reward comes months and years down the line. That's when you realize you haven't just improved memory, you've rewired your brain for long-term independence. Now you know the ritual, simple steps that nourish your brain, calm your body, and guide your sleep into the deep stages where memories are protected and words come back faster. The snack, the breathing, the reflection, the movement, the oxygen, they're not random pieces. They're gears in a machine. And when they turn together, your brain begins to feel decades younger. But here's the truth. This is only the beginning. Because while these steps restore memory recall, there's something else happening in the background. As your hippocampus repairs, other parts of your brain begin waking up. Areas linked to creativity, mood, and even balance. So the question isn't whether this ritual works. It's what happens when you combine it with the missing piece that almost every senior overlooks. That's where the real transformation begins.